What is up, everybody? It's your boy Duty back again with another video, and this time we're taking a look at our boy DSP's finances for the work week. And of course, like we do every week, we take a look at the liquidity for the business for the work week and then do a comparison month over month and then year over year. And of course, this week is no difference, folks. Our boy Phil did some extra heavy begging this week, especially being at the fact that last week support was completely abysmal, especially when he needed a rallying of support to save the February check, and it just did not happen. As you guys heard, Phil only made about $913. Don't forget, folks, that's gross numbers, way short than what he needed to save the business. So Phil made it a point this week to beg extra hard, and he even called the Super Bowl marathon scheduled for Saturday the Super Beg Marathon, where he's actually told people, hey, if you got a free Argentinian gifted membership, you should come out and support me. You should tip me. And it's funny because he reminds me of Betty White on The Simpsons when she was doing the PBS telethon, and she said that if you don't donate, you're essentially stealing. And that's what Phil has come down to now. He's no longer begging. He's accusing people of watching his content of stealing if they don't support, which is pretty pathetic. Anyway, let's take a look at the numbers and see how Phil did this week. So the work week was again 6 days. It looks like Phil managed to pull in $1,043 in tips. Compare that to the abysmal total of $760 from the previous week. Phil did pretty good. He did about $300 more than he did last week. Now you say, why did that occur? Well, two things. One, it was the first of the month, so a lot of the dents got their monthly Social Security check, so they had a little bit of extra income to throw Phil his way. The welfare check came in. The second thing too is that Phil made it an extra point to beg really hard, so he continued the begging from the previous week, and it looks like it paid off a bit. The third thing is, of course, Phil decided to milk Baldur's Gate. It seems to be the only thing that's providing him any source of revenue. Baldur's Gate, Tekken is dead, Like a Dragon is dead. The throwbacks aren't getting any money. The throwback React content, the DSP React content isn't getting anything. So the only tried and true thing that's actually benefiting Phil is playing Baldur's Gate. And the funny thing is that he shitted on the game when it first came out. He called it a PC game. Remember, he said it would not win Game of the Year. It won Game of the Year. He talked about how, it didn't fit his playstyle. He talked about how he would have to shelve it because he didn't have enough time, especially with the new releases with Tekken and Like a Dragon. And what ends up happening? He's milking Baldur's Gate because it's the only thing that's bringing him money. Fucking pathetic. It just clearly shows that all Phil cares about is fucking money. All he does, he'll tell you that it's about the game and stuff, and he does it because he loves it and he likes hanging out with his viewers. But that's bullshit. He wouldn't play Baldur's Gate 3 times in 1 week if he wasn't looking for money. So he did, and that could explain the difference in tip money. You figure three streams, $100 a piece. There you go. That's why Phil made a little bit more money. If he didn't play Baldur's Gate and stuck to his guns and played Tekken and Like a Dragon, his tips would be abysmal. Now for the super chats of that same time period, it looks like Phil managed to make $206, which of course is just fucking garbage. His super chats have been god awful for the last year and a half, this year and last year and this year. And you would think that with memberships actually just being dead on his channel and gifted memberships because of the Argentinian detractors, you would think more people would actually super chat. I understand why people don't tip, because they know Phil gets their PayPal information, and Phil has been known to dox people. So I understand why they don't tip, but you would think they would super chat. Super chat's very safe when you give some money on super chat. That's the reason why I don't allow people to tip me on my streams. I just allow the super chat. YouTube gives their cut. I don't care. It's just safer for everyone, and it's not a big deal. So you would think people would give more super chats. That is not happening, folks. People aren't gifting memberships. People aren't re-upping their memberships, and people aren't giving super chats. So Phil really needs to get that shit in check, because we know that Phil's the super chats, the memberships, the super thanks, that all goes towards the YouTube check, which he uses to pay his bills. His tips. His tip money, that's for WWE champions. So if he doesn't have enough super chats, memberships coming in, he can't afford to pay his bills, and he has to do some really soul searching. And he may need to go into Gamblers Anonymous. and get his shit corrected so that he'll have enough money to pay the bills. Either that or create a new fucking channel. Who the fuck knows? Alrighty, so for the super chats, Phil made a little bit more than he did prior to last week. He made 153 last week. This week he made 206. So for the grand total, it looks like Phil made $1,249 for the work week, which is okay. You know, it's okay. It's still kind of low for Phil. And being that he's already in the hole for the month and the year, that doesn't bode well for him. It doesn't. Especially he has this begathon on Saturday. More than likely, the Dents will shoot their wad on Saturday and then struggle to support the rest of the week. Typically what happens, and I'm sure that's going to happen. Unless Phil decides to play Baldur's Gate 6 times a week. He may become a Baldur's Gate streamer 24/7. So he made $1,249. Previously last week he made $913. So again, he made about $300 more in this week. And big ups to Baldur's Gate for saving the work week. Alrighty, so far for February, Phil has managed to pull in $1,249. He is on pace to actually make less in February than he did in January, but it's still too early. We'll keep those totals and we'll let you know. Alrighty, so far for 2024, Phil has pulled in $5,567 in tips. Compare that to last year where he made $6,134 for the same exact period of time. Now, let's take a look at 2022, where he made $7,477 so far. So our boy Phil is in some deep doo-doo here, and there's no reversing this. There isn't. He's getting older. His content's getting stale. He's losing a lot of his viewers. He's not replenishing the viewers. He's not doing the documentary to get some potential exposure. So it's dead channel walking, folks. We may be seeing the last season of DSP Gaming, folks. Season 16 may be the last one. Either the last one or Phil may need to get a part-time job, or Cat will have to get a full-time job. One or the other. So if we compare his totals for 2023 to 2022, Phil's made $7,038 this year so far. Compare that to last year where he made $8,576. So he's already 18% in the hole, negative 18% year over year. Now, the one thing that I wanted you to look at is the super chats. This year so far, he's only made $1,471 in super chat. Last year, he made $2,442. Almost $1,000 less year over year. And if you think about it, like I said, no one's gifting memberships. No one's buying memberships. So you would think that the Dents would give more super chats, and they're just not. And that's Phil's biggest problem here. So again, he's down 18%. Now it looks even more abysmal if you compare 2024 to 2022, where he's down a staggering negative 37%. That's right. In 22, for the same time period, Phil made $11,089 in a month and a week. That's what Phil managed to pull in 2022. Now, if I go back to 2021, it's probably even more than that because he had Twitch. He had Twitch for a bit of a period. He had Twitch for some time. So yeah, that is just abysmally terrible. And there's nothing Phil can do. I'm sorry. There's nothing Phil can do to get out of this spiral. Like I said, he's not doing a documentary, so he's not exposing himself. He's not collabing with anyone because he's scared of, getting hurt like he did with the side scrollers. He's not doing any interviews. He's not doing anything but just trying to milk old content. And no one cares about the DSP throwback. And the main thing that's killing him, and he tries to act like it's not a big deal, are the Argentinian detractors. Those memberships are fucking killing Phil, and there's nothing he could do about it because there's no way YouTube's going to change that. YouTube's strategy is try to expand in Latin America. And one of the things they do is they make these gifted memberships and memberships super fucking cheap for these people to give. And they're not going to change that strategy just because it's hurting Phil in the pocket. It's not. So he's going to have to find another revenue source. He may need to take on those sponsors that he talks about he gets all the time to make some additional income. Other than that, you're fucked, Phil. You're fucked. Season 16 might be the last stream, or he may need to actually get a full-time job. Seriously. Either he get a full-time job or Cat gets 2 jobs. It's one or the other. Something has to give. Because and it's not even a money issue. The issue is a spending issue. The guy spends so much money. If he brings in $10 a day, He's spending $12 a day. And that's the problem with Phil. He's always trying to catch up on money that he spends that he doesn't have. He doesn't have a rainy day fund. He doesn't have any money saved up. And when he does get money saved up, he fucking spends it on bullshit. Remember 2 years ago where he got those 1,000, he had over like 1,100 memberships and he ended up having like an extra $1,500 or $2,000. And what'd he do? He spent that shit on bullshit. He bought a TV, had an Xbox Series S. He bought a whole bunch of shit, and within a month, all that money was gone. Instead of saving it for a rainy fucking day when he needed it. No, because Phil's MO is, you know what, if I need money, I'll just beg for it, and the dents will come out and give me it. The problem, Phil, is you can only milk a cow so much. Even cows stop giving out milk eventually. You need to put them out the pasture. Eventually you do, Phil. And that's what's happening here. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Big ups to the Argentinian detractors. Whoever you are, you're doing the Lord's work. Peace out.